So, welcome to BSU's first podcast. Today, it's basically going to be an introduction of what we are, what we stand for, and why we're important on campus. And I am Banky Osamiro, and I am the president of BSU this year. Today, we have the vice president, the treasurer/secretary, the activities director, web guru, and our advisor here with us today. And so I would like everyone to discuss why BSU is important to have on campus and also what made them join BSU. So personally, I think BSU is important to have on campus to really express voices of maybe the unheard that are normally not in high places. And as a student that goes to Peninsula High, our school doesn't really have a large demographic of people of color, and to be able to come together and discuss our views is something really important to treasure. And I'd like to pass it on to the Vice President of BSU, Courtney.
Hi, my name is Courtney Williams. I'm the Vice President of BSU. A reason why I think BSU is important on our campus is because it's just a way to learn about different cultures, and the Black community isn't it's a culture that's widely known, but I don't think it's celebrated enough. So I think having a BSU on campus, especially in a very privileged area, I think it's very important for people to know about other cultures besides their own.
Thank you, Courtney. Next is the treasurer/secretary, Taylor.
I think that BSU is important on campus because it provides a way for underrepresented students to feel seen and heard. And here at BSU, while having a safe and fun environment, we can really talk about and discuss issues that matter to us. And for me personally, I decided to join BSU because I really just wanted to further educate myself and become more involved in like activism and other issues.
Thank you. And I think that, I think Courtney, you didn't state why you joined BSU. Neither did I. I looked you forgot. So I joined BSU because, I feel like I never really took a course on campus that really educated me about like my people, not just people of color, but the issues and history and the traditions. And I felt like it was really important for me to like stretch out and branch out to figure out things that I'm not like able to learn everywhere. And I also wanted to have Black friends because I never had any in middle school, really. So Courtney.
Okay, I personally joined BSU because I grew up in Chicago where there's a lot of people of my color around, and when I moved to California, it was a big change. Like I didn't see Black people everywhere I went. So I liked having an area where I could be able to educate myself more about my culture, because in schools the only thing we learn about my culture is slavery and like Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks, but that's like very generic. So I just wanted to educate myself about the Black culture more.
Now we'll be moving to our activities director, Makwa, to discuss why BSU is important to have on campus and why we joined.
Hi, my name is Makanweke, and to me, why BSU is important. One, it's a really huge learning experience. I feel like we discuss a lot of things that have to do with what is going on right now, like social issues and things of that nature. So I think just being a part of BSU allows you to educate yourself on such topics. And the reason I joined BSU was at first to connect with people who are obviously a similar background as me. But as I progress and as I see it now, it's just more about being a part of something that's bigger than yourself, and just being a part of a cause, being a part of something that is moving towards change or looking to change something in some way. So that's
I 100% agree with that. And also, one of our activities director is not here today, Lila, but she'll be joining us on a later date. And next, our web gurus will be going. Yeowon, if you'd like to go first.
Okay. I think BSU is really important to me. It's because we get to share our cultural differences, and also we get to discuss about like issues of inequality as freely as we want. And yeah. And I joined BSU because I'm passionate about discussing issues, inequality, stereotypes around the world, as well as about relevant news that affects all races for people. And yeah, that was the reason why I joined the BSU.
Thank you. And our next web guru, Cassidy. Sorry, my bad.
I'm Cassidy, and I joined BSU because I'm adamant on learning more about Black history and Black culture and talking about it more. I think it's important that all schools have a BSU, so there's a community of people of all colors, genders, sexualities to empower one another and be able to talk about these racial injustices that happen in America.
Next, I would like for the leader of the podcast, Alexis, to discuss why she joined BSU and the importance of having one.
Hi, I'm Alexis. I personally joined BSU because for a long time, I thought a particular way because of how I was raised. And then as I grew up, I experienced certain moments where it was kind of like a revelation. I was in like this kind of bubble, and certain things that happened to me in my junior year, right before I started school, really made me wake up and realize that I didn't know all that I needed to know. And I wasn't going to just be complacent and just be okay with being ignorant. So I decided to actively join the BSU, and not only join BSU because I wanted to learn more just about one culture, I also wanted to learn more about my own, a side of myself that I'd never really gave too much thought about. So I thought that BSU was really important for me because it allowed me to see different experiences, different paths, and it really helps you become a better, well-rounded citizen.
We have an esteemed member of BSU here with us today. Amanda, if you'd also like to share your take.
Hi. So I think personally I joined BSU because I come from a very diverse background, and although like racism has never personally affected me, it's affected my family, and I've seen how it's affected my family members. So I am very active, and I want to become more educated and active in issues such as inequalities and stereotypes and combating those issues. And I just wanted to educate myself on those so I could bring light to others and enlighten others on how we can stop those and prevent those issues from happening in our country and globally. And I think it's important to have on campus, especially where we live in a area that's predominantly affluent in a white community, to acknowledge the struggles of the Black community and of other minority communities, and just teach others that there are other communities out there, that not just your own, that do have other issues that are prominent and present in today's society.
Thank you. And next, I would like Alexis to discuss the history of BSU.
Okay. On October 29th, 1969, the first BSU was conceived on the campus of Florida Tech, which is now called the University of Central Florida, or UCF. African American students saw that the leadership was predominantly white and that they lacked the necessary representation. So they banded together to form a club that was all inclusive. Black Student Union is an organization that advocates for the needs of students on the campus. While empowering, teaching, discussing, and exploring the Black experience, BSU serves as a liaison between students of African descent and other minorities and the campus. BSU actively believes, and this is just me adding this in though, but BSU actively believes that minority issues aren't just minority issues. Injustice against one is injustice against all. So it's best to just educate yourself, and that's what we're really here for.
Thank you very much, Alexis, for that. And this year, going virtual, I think it's really important for us to establish our goals as a BSU, this year, what we plan and hope to still transcend virtual boundaries or distance boundaries. And so I was hoping everyone could discuss what their goals or something they plan on really keeping in mind this year. I'll start with myself. I'm really interested in starting an ethnic studies course on campus and or at all high schools. I feel like it's really important for everyone to be educated and not have to go out of their way to receive education on other races issue, not just Black, not just white, not just Asian, but I feel like we all have issues in society that should be learned and taught in schools. I'm also really passionate about environmental racism, and that's an issue I hope that we'd be able to discuss in a future podcast.
My goal this year is just to spread and to advocate for BSU as much as I can and to be the best vice president for BSU ever, because this is my first leadership position and I want it to be a good step to many more.
Sort of a personal goal I have for myself is to become more, because I feel like I can often be like very introverted. So that's something that I want to work on, because like while it's important to educate myself, I feel like if I want to actively help to better our society, part of that has to be me sort of coming out of my shell and like speaking out and educating other people. So that's something I would like to work on this year.
This year, I'd really like to see this podcast reach its full potential. I think that having this podcast for BSU can really help us educate other people on issues that we find important, and if we end up accepting like suggestions, we could talk about other issues that other people find important as well. And I just think this podcast would help us like um, have will let BSU have a bigger voice on campus and get the word out there about BSU to invite new people in.
Thank you. Yewon, what grew?
My goal is pretty much same as Courtney's, that I want to advertise the BSU to students of Peninsula High School, such as like posting posts in the Instagram and bringing new the members to the BSU.
Cassidy?
A goal I have for BSU is that this year we talk more about more like serious and important topics like police brutality or white privilege or affirmative action. I feel like last year we didn't talk about those types of things, so I hope this year that we can talk more about those things. Sorry, hi. I joined BSU because I think that it's good to be able to talk with a group of people just about social injustices in the Black community.
Okay, and Amanda and Cassidy, if you had any goals for BSU or something you look forward to as just regular members, if there's anything prominent, like maybe done last year, you'd like to speak about again.
So my personal goal is just because I have a very loud personality. So just to like take that and be more educated and use that to be more active in like fighting social injustices. And I would also to see BSU like Binky with an ethnic study course and also engaging more people in our student body and community, drawing them to the BSU because I feel like in recent events there's been a lot of like activism, but then it's like kind of died, fizzled out, and I want that to be like revamped and like people to come back and see that it's not gone.
I agree with that. And I feel like since there's so much injustices happening today, a lot of people on campus are interested in doing something about it, whether little or small, maybe just reposting or it's like attaching like change.org link to their bio. Just the littlest thing, you never know what impact it can really make on society. And I feel like it's really good to recognize that and that we're welcome to everyone. I feel like some people forget that BSU is not just for Black students. We're an all-inclusive group. As you can see, we're pretty diverse. So I think it's important to keep in mind that we're willing and able to accept everyone. And if Mr. Daly, our advisor, would like to shed a light on that.
Thank you, Madam President. Hello, my name is Mr. Daly. I'm the advisor for BSU this year. This is my first year advising BSU, and I cannot be more excited. I'm really looking forward to seeing what our BSU student members do around Peninsula's campus to not only attract more members, but to get educational factors out to all students having to do with the Black experience. And kind of like Banky was saying, this is an all-inclusive group. We are a diverse group. I think there is power in diversity and power in celebrating diversity. And then a couple other reasons I decided to be the advisor to this group is kind of similar to what Makwa was saying earlier. You know, I like to join something that's bigger than myself and be part of a movement. And then something similar to what Benki was saying earlier also, that I'm really striving to push at the, as the educator of the group, an actual ethnic studies course in the high school, because I feel like that's a very good way to educate all of our students about diversity in general and history through the lens of non-white people, because I do feel like most history books have been written by white people, and that needs to change a little bit. And this leads me to the last factor of why I decided to be the BSU advisor, which is it's an opportunity for me to practice something that I've heard of be called the being an abolitionist teacher. And this is just a concept of kind of disrupting or dismantling the educational system at a systemic level and really try to change the dynamic of the educational system to make it more inclusive, more diverse, and teach correct history. And I'll leave it at that. And again, I'm just so excited to be here, and I can't wait to see how these podcasts bring a huge range of topics, kind of what Cassidy was talking about earlier about the Black experience. And I really look forward to learning a lot from all of you students, and then hopefully learning from other people as well outside of our group. So thank you, Banky.
No problem. We were discussing the goals we had for BSU this year. If Mai would like to talk about that, or anyone else have anything to add.
Yeah, I can go. So I'm a very shy person, so my goal is to be able to talk more so I can advocate for for equal rights. Sorry, it froze, I think.
Honestly speaking, I am also a little bit of a shy person. Um, when it comes to like things like public speaking, but I feel like when there's like a greater cause, I kind of just like try to overlook myself and try to think that if I'm trying to push something out there, I'd rather like try my best, and go full force than hold back and regret in the future. Because that's happened a lot. But uh, one of the things that BSU has really done was like outreach to kind of like get involved with other BSUs. We've attended the UBSUC conference last year, and this year they had one earlier. And it was a really good experience to meet other presidents of BSUs and to kind of connect with them on another level. And we're kind of hoping to have an interview with them to discuss further what they plan to do with their BSU going virtual this year. So if there's anything anyone would like to add or
Yeah, I'll go. Personally, I side with Banky and Mr. Daly when we're talking about the ethnic courses. I feel like that's very important, especially in a predominantly white and Asian school. I feel like when there's not much diversity in an area, that's when these courses are most needed because you're not facing that day to day. And if you're not facing that day to day, it becomes your normal to think that all those problems, all those issues, everything about that, it's just so foreign to you. So it's really important to actively include those things in your lifestyle and in just like in general in your day to day. But what I'm predominantly going to be focusing on is the podcast because I feel like someone else said last year, I don't feel like we really got to certain topics that were really important. We were more focused on just like I don't know, we were focused on it being safe, and I understand that we need to all feel safe. But I also want to push out the fact of it's okay to be uncomfortable. We need to get over this aversion of speaking our minds and speaking on the tough topics because in comfort, you never really make any progress. You never really go far if you're 100% comfortable. We need to get over this, and we need to speak on these issues. And what my main focus is on is not necessarily just like putting my view out there. The reason why I argue and I debate with people is because I like listening and I like learning to how they're speaking, what they're thinking, because that's important. Even if you don't agree with someone, you need to have that respect and you need to understand why they feel the way that they do. And I feel like that's really important. If people would talk more about how they felt instead of just saying you're wrong, we would make so much more progress. I feel like that's the way that we should move forward.
I really agree with that. And I think it's important that you said respectfully because I understand everyone has their own views, especially on like maybe political topics or racial issues. But it's important to listen to the other side on a respectful level because everyone supports their own view for reasons. And people don't just choose to support something without actually, caring or having prior knowledge. So I feel like when we do in the future have discussions, maybe with people with opposite, like opposing views, then it's good to keep an atmosphere that's welcoming and accepting because people will be able to listen and hear more when we keep it on a respectful basis. If anyone else would like to add on that.
I was actually thinking that like the idea of having debates with people, I feel like that would be a really good way to sort of bring people into our club because I feel people may like be hesitant or just not want to join at all because they're like, oh well, my opinions are different, so like I wouldn't be welcomed, I guess you could say. But if we had like certain past maybe episodes in our podcast where we invited people to have debates and discussions, then maybe they could learn stuff, we could learn stuff, and it could just be a more positive environment for everyone.
I do agree with Taylor. Like some people just kind of shy away from joining BSUs because they don't have the same viewpoints. And I feel like also having an ethnic studies class, definitely try to push for that this year too, because during this like 2020 when the Black Lives Matter uh, protests and activism, you kind of saw people's true colors, and I feel like most of that was kind of deal with people just not knowing any better, like they didn't have the right education, like they didn't go out of their way to educate themselves. And I kind of feel like that's not their fault, it's kind of the school's fault, because like you grow up like hearing about that and learning about that. So I definitely think like people should learn at a young age just about different cultures besides their own, and their own cultures besides what's in like history books, and just look deeper behind the text.
That's very important. And, people aren't born, with prejudice or like racist thoughts. Because I don't know about you, but we all saw that viral video of those two little boys running and hugging each other. And I feel like that's the atmosphere we are trying to create in BSU. Just being able to realize our differences, understand each other, and love each other.
Yeah, man, I would just say that I'm really interested to see where we take these debates. I feel like having different voices come in and talk, like not necessarily voices that agree with us, but voices that maybe disagree with some of the views that we hold, would be very important to have in moving us towards achieving something with this club.
Thank you. I feel like today we were able to really discuss what BSU has going for us this year, what we're looking forward to, what we plan on doing, and why having us on campus is important, and an opportunity for students to educate themselves, learn more, and strive to better themselves. As a as a high school club, our students are going to be graduating and joining society, and to have students who've been through BSU enter society and do well, I feel like they have an advantage from knowing other people's views and accepting them. So I would like to call a close to the podcast. I feel like we were able to really go through our thoughts today, and I'm happy we're all here. So, okay.